Prime Minister Harini Amarasuriya as the most suitable person to lead various ministry plus to be the Prime Minister. I hope to see about 10 to 15%, but I would personally want to see more than 113 seats to be women to sit in the parliament, and that's when our democracy is inclusive. That's when the democracy is actually being experienced by all of us, and that's a must. Thanks to NPP plus the parties that have come out of Aragalaya has given equal representation to women as well. Huge problem for Muslim women. In this country, we have a very archaic Muslim Marriage and Divorce Act that doesn't even allow a woman to sign when she gets married. The system that implements, it's a Qazi court, has not a single woman and there's child marriage. So in that context, formally all the election monitoring bodies are headed by men. We women decided as part of Women's Action Network, we will monitor sexualized content and report to the stakeholders and relevant bodies to take action.
Welcome to She Digital, the first and the only YouTube channel by women for women. Today we are going to discuss the relevance of women's presence in Sri Lankan politics. This is again there is an election, the second election in 2024, and we are interested in discussing issues that matter to women and whether we have enough women representing political parties, whether they have had enough space and an opportunity to get into politics. We also want to talk a little bit about how disinformation and hate narratives impact their political careers and the choices they want to make. To discuss this topic with us, we have Shreen Sarur, a very well-known human rights activist, a feminist, and someone who really works a lot with women. And away from the cities, you work a lot with women who are based in rural areas, particularly from marginalized communities. So welcome to the show, Shreen. We're really pleased to have you today.
Thank you, Lilukshi. I'm pleased to be here.
Tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now, because it's election time and you work in little known places, working with politicians or women who want to be politicians but who are waiting for an opportunity. What does it look like right now?
So right now what we are trying to do is that we are launching a campaign, particularly in the north, also for the Tamil speaking women to get into politics, because the last parliament we didn't have a single Tamil speaking woman. So this time around, with Prime Minister being a woman, we are encouraging a lot of women to get into politics, and women have come in large number. So we have launched a campaign in the north to start with, vote for her for the next parliament. So we have designed a street drama that will be performed first week of November onward for 2 weeks in the north, probably in the east also in Puttalam, for the Tamil speaking general public to know their female candidates and to vote for their female candidates. And also we have launched a website, Send Our Women to Parliament, which has all the posters of the women who are contesting, including the single women. And also we are trying to see whenever there is a hate narrative, particularly gender-based hate narrative, to counter those positively. We have social media activists carefully watching it, and we won't develop content that are hate but positive contents, and also to make sure those hate speech and fake news about women politicians are being taken out as and when it is affecting them. That is what we are trying to do. And also we are putting together the hate speech and gendered sexualized hate speech for the Election Commission to know that we women are also monitoring, even though we are generally not known as the big election monitoring body, because formally all the election monitoring bodies are headed by men. We women decided as part of Women's Action Network, we will monitor sexualized content and report to the stakeholders and relevant bodies to take action.
So you have your own group monitoring social media for hate and sexualization and objectification of women candidates.
Yes.
So you also spoke about women from the north and the east seeking public office this time. If you were to tell us, what are the numbers we are looking at now? For example, the Interparliamentary Union does say that only 27% of women globally have made it to parliament. And that's not good enough. That's a little over 1/4 of the total. So when you think about Sri Lanka, it's a little over 5% in the previous parliament. We talk about having the first prime minister at a global scale, but at the same time, we right now have another prime minister who's a woman, and after 24 years, we have a woman who is a prime minister. But do these things actually impact us, help us to get more women into politics?
Okay, so the current context is very interesting, primarily because we have a president who came from ground level up, without any family background, so and from the poor communities. And we also have a prime minister who came, an intellectual who has come without any political support or political family. So this has made women to rethink about how they want to enter politics. Previously, we have been asking for quota, affirmative action, and all those things. But now, the number of women who have come forward to contest a parliament election, I am so surprised. This is primarily because we have got a prime minister. It's for me, it's by luck we got this prime minister, primarily because there are only 3 MPs in the parliament of this particular political party. When the president came from that party, they found Prime Minister Harini Amarasuriya as the most suitable person to lead various ministry plus to be the prime minister. That has inspired a lot of women. So I think in the forthcoming parliament, I hope to see about 10 to 15%. But I would personally want to see more than 113 seats to be women to sit in the parliament, and that's when our democracy is inclusive. That's when the democracy is actually being experienced by all of us, and that's a must. 50% or over 50% of women to be in the parliament.
Shreen, you also represent North and the East, and your activism is largely rooted there. So, working with candidates and women candidates, I have a couple of questions. One is that political parties, how do they look at women candidates? Because you did say that having a prime minister who's a woman has helped and opened new opportunities, as well as women feel inspired to contest elections. So that's a good thing. But then you will also run into other issues when you think about the political parties. So they're structurally not geared towards including women on their nomination lists. And in particular, if you think about minorities, whether they are ethnic, linguistic, religious, or any other form of minorities, like marginalized, then the opportunity for them to be included will be really a difficult one. Is this any different? Is it changing? Are the parties responsive?
Well, parties are compelled to respond now, right? Most of the ethnic minority parties.
Why do you say they're compelled to?
Primarily because certain political parties have brought in women in large numbers. Thanks to NPP, plus the parties that have come out of Aragalaya, has given equal representation to women as well. So this trend setting is shaken the patriarchal, ethnicized parties that are based on religion to rethink about it. To come to think about it, the previous parliament had lots of parliamentarians who came to power by hate mongering, by dividing the communities, by attacking the minorities, and the minority communities to show that they are so much radicalized with regard to religion or ethnicization and all those things. Now we don't see them running. Right? They are scared because with 2022 Aragalaya, there have been a lot of counter narratives that has been created by younger generation of people. And we also see lots of younger generation of people entering parliament. So their mentality has changed. So therefore, when some larger change happens with regard to representation, the minority parties also need to respond. And first respond actually happened in Jaffna in the north. When the parliament election was called, a group of Tamil women got together and had a press conference asking their political parties to nominate women equally. And they said, if you don't nominate us equally, we are going to go and look for seats with other parties. So it shook the men, because these are the women who worked for many years mobilizing voters, bringing in those voters for the political party rallies, making sure those rallies are going in order, making sure these men are getting their preferential vote and all those things. So these men now are, the core has been shaken a bit. So that's why we see a lot of women being put on their party list. That doesn't mean the party patriarchal structures have changed, because almost all the ethnic minority parties have their politburo, male dominant politburo. And I also get complaints from women politicians, now women who are contesting parliament election. They say more than attack coming from outside, it is intra-party attack that they are suffering, because the men are compelled to give seat to the women now, or have to put them in the nomination list. Now their men are attacking them. So then they can't complain, because if they complain outside, it look like their party, they are making complaint against the party. So the political leadership is asking them to tolerate. That's why we need women within the party on the leadership level, so that when women are attacked by their own party men, they can make complaints. So still we have the patriarchal political parties. It has not changed. But I think the women are making progress when it comes to contesting election. And the number of women who have come from different walks of life, different professionals, and women who have had experience previously in politics but didn't want to contest because their party would not allow them to contest, are now given the chance to do it, and I'm very happy to see that. Well, with regard to the minority community, there is a huge problem for Muslim women. In this country, we have a very archaic Muslim Marriage and Divorce Act that doesn't even allow a woman to sign when she gets married. The system that implements, it's a Qazi court, has not a single woman, and there's child marriage. So in that context, it is extremely difficult for women to come forward, because always when we talk about these issues that are happening, the discrimination against women and girl child, we are being attacked hugely. So some of my colleagues already being attacked, but they are very popular among the women and because of the work, but they are very reluctant to come forward, because the community men, particularly religious politician and religiously clergymen, systematically start attacking. They start from the mosque itself. After Friday prayers, they'll start attacking us. That will be the topic, saying that these women are all getting into politics, make sure that you don't vote for them. But in Islam, it doesn't say that way. Prophet Muhammad's most number of hadiths, what he said was memorized by Aisha, and that is what these men are believing in. Then Prophet Muhammad also encouraged his wife to go and participate in war. Sending women to parliament is not waging war. It is making sure everybody lives safely in this country, and we have to play that role. And it's extremely difficult still for Muslim women to come forward.
So another question stemming from what you say would be the fact that how we experience the internet. Men and women experience the internet very differently. So there is a lot of gender-based violence and sexualization and stigma and stereotypes. Women have to deal with most of it. The same things are never being said about the men as they would do with women. So when you come from a minority community, or from a marginalized community, or from places where we were not ready to shine a light on for the longest possible years. As you mentioned, the places where there was a conflict, violent conflict for the longest period of time. So how do they experience? What are their experiences of online hate? Does it create a dent in their campaigns? Does it discourage them? How are they dealing with that?
So to start with, the internet mega companies, social media companies, has problem with regard to content, because many of their community standard doesn't match our culture. And also the words that are being used to abuse women in vernacular language is not in their content monitoring. So therefore it's extremely difficult for us to complain and remove those posts within 24 hours. It takes sometimes 3-4 days, sometimes weeks, and then sometimes they say, no, it's equally women and men are being attacked. How come you think this is, especially for women and all those things? So you have to justify a lot. With regard to the women, it's a huge problem, particularly for Tamil and Muslim women, because culturally and religious wise, our women are very much seen as honor of the family. So the moment when you are attacked sexually, whether they are putting a photograph of a candidate in a swimsuit or something, they dock it. What they do is they remove the attire of the woman,
yeah.
and then they put a woman in half clothes. So then some women don't take it serious. For some women, it is extremely difficult. I remember last parliament election, 3 o'clock in the morning, one of my sisters who worked very hard on appearing for PTA case, a very brave lawyer, called me and said, Shreen, they have put my photograph in bikini and I'm going to withdraw. I don't want to contest. So I asked why. I mean, you shouldn't worry about these things and everybody knows who you are and all. She said, Shreen, I have a 16-year-old child, right? So for women, it is not only for them, it is also their family, right? We are supposed to hold the family's honor. So the moment there is this sexualized content and attack in the social media, then there is family pressure, and then there is this, community pressure and all those things. And also another angle of this social media is, usually if it is a physical attack, you know who is attacking you. You can go to the police station, or you can go to the nearest, community place where people gather and talk about this person attacking. This is somebody invisible. Oftentimes, people who are attacking women they don't have backbone. This is all fake ID. These men hide behind their fake ID or sit somewhere outside the country and attack. So if you even go to cybercrime, they say we can't do anything about it because the attack is coming from outside. So this is not only for political women who are entering politics, but also many of us who are doing activism, who are talking about women's rights issues, who are asking for reform to some patriarchal laws, who are asking reform to ethnicization and like attacking women based on religion. This has been a problem because we have been vilified, and there has been a huge issue with regard to removing those posts or countering that person, because nothing helps. And then you talk to the social media giant, they are all also patriarchal social media giants who don't understand. I mean, one good example is when a Tamil politician was put in the posters, or rather on social media posters, with in his undergarment, with him with two women, right? So when I went to the then election commission, I said, this is a gender-based attack. These two women are suffering. Then he said, if that man is not suffering, why are you bothered about women suffering? Of course, our men in undergarments does not, this is part of masculinity, right? So it doesn't touch them at all. But women, it impacts them differently. And so our structures, even the election structures, right? They don't understand how this gender-based violence, impact these women and their future political aspiration, career, and all those things. So this need to be taken very seriously.
So you also spoke about the social media companies and the responses being late, because anything can happen while we wait for some of the posts to be taken down, right? It can actually make you lose an election, as we have seen. Are you having any kind of networking or discussions directly with the social media companies to create awareness, because they also need to be made aware that these issues do exist and they need to be addressed, and women need to be treated differently because they have very different experiences when they are online? Do you have any ongoing discussion? What can you do as you're a rights-based person, so what do you all do to make them feel safe and not quit?
See, it's extremely difficult to have conversation with social media giant. Even in Sri Lanka, if you want to talk to Facebook, you have to talk to the New Delhi office. There are few civil society actors, social media people who are working in Sri Lanka who monitor content. Unfortunately, they monitor content English and Sinhala. Tamil content is not monitored properly, and also some of the content monitors are so conservative. So for them, when we talk about this is a huge problem for women, they say, no, it's just a small attack. No, why are you making it a big scene about? So like the first barrier is people content monitor. Normalization of sexual gender-based violence, right? And then with regard to vernacular language, in Tamil, I don't know about Sinhalese, but in Tamil, certain words you need not to say directly, but you use it such a way, it is very problematic in a sexualized content. It's extremely difficult for us to explain these things also to the content monitoring people. And well, if you are privileged and you have connection, then we pick up the phone and talk to Delhi office. But everybody don't have that privilege. So therefore, we have now put about 5 young social media activists. Every time there is sexualized attack on a candidate or a woman, we do positive, positive content being placed on it. We don't attack or allow the woman to respond to, because the moment that she starts responding to this kind of a sexualized content, then she is further attacked. So therefore, and also she loses time on campaigning and all those things, and it has a psychological impact on her. So we say, you take a break, we will start doing it. And first what we do is good things that this woman has done, so that her image is not tarnished. So first thing is salvaging that image, and if that person continue to do it, we take the responsibility to go and complain. And we have Facebook friends who will also go and complain to Facebook, not one person, about 100 people, saying that this is a wrong content, this is a sexualized content, this is impacting. So then we keep saying. And also we have also asked these people to defriend these people who are spreading hate speech and sexualized content in social media against our sisters who are contesting this.
So this is part of the programs that you do trainings. So is this part of the awareness that you create among would-be candidates?
Yes.
Do you have discussions around this?
Yeah, issues? So with the women we have, because when the local authority election happened, when the 25% quota came in, we had leadership training for these women. So one part of the leadership training is how to counter social media attack. So these women also are aware of the fact that they can complain to us. And then the younger people that we train on social media, they also underwent how to counter social media, this kind of a content, and how to do counter narrative. So they are doing it. Some of them are even going with their camera and videoing this particular woman, what she is doing in real life, and putting onto social media when she is attacked. Positive things, how she is serving the community, how she is working in her professional life, and things like that.
So my last question is about, again, representation and inclusion. Particularly when you think about the North and the East, these women who are contesting and who are not contesting, who are activists, who are not activists, who are not politicians, the average woman, citizen, they have so many unresolved issues because of the long drawn out conflict, and we are still waiting for answers. Are these things getting reflected in the campaigns? And also, are these women able to give some kind of voice to these issues during the campaign?
It's not easy for them, because they have to go with these patriarchal parties, except couple of parties that women have made breakthrough. Say the complaint day before yesterday I received from all these women, or many of the women that I met, that the parties are having meetings after midnight or late in the night. So many of them have vehicle and they can go about, and many of these women don't have transport facilities. So therefore it's extremely difficult for them to participate. So if they don't participate, then their campaign allowances, allocations, and the designing of the campaign material and all, they are missing out. And even if they stay late in the night, when they go home after 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, in the house, in the community, they are being attacked, or they are being coupled with somebody who is dropping them. So it's extremely different. This is a practical, simple practical example that how, so the parties should understand that either women have to be given transport or they should have the meetings daytime, right? So, simple knowledge like that, our men don't have it. And I think some women are saying they're doing it deliberately because so that we don't participate in it. And then the countering when there is a sexual content, even for women to go and complain about it, it's very difficult to go and complain to a man saying that here my picture has been put in this swimsuit or there is this content and all those things. So they wanted somebody in the party, a woman on the higher up, so that they can go and have a conversation. Even they don't have that. Right? So it's not easy for these women to do. Irrespective of all those things, many of these women are contesting, and I think it's our duty to make sure that at least little bit of their burden is reduced, and that's what we are trying to do right now.
Thank you. Irrespective of all the challenges, women should come forth and should contest. Thank you, Shri Sarul, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.